validity component. And the validity component is there because it essentially requires that for an argument to be valid, one must have a track of the truth. Even if the premises aren't in actuality true, what we're looking for is, does the argument take us from truths to truths? Or could it ever lead us from a truth to a falsity? The way we evaluate that is counterfactual. We imagine first that the premises are true, and then we see if the conclusion must also be true. This way of looking at it, and we look at the truth of the premises later, don't worry, that's called soundness. But again, we're going to get into this in next week, and I would encourage you to start reading chapter 3 if you're satisfied that you understand the information in chapters 1 and 2. So we evaluate arguments in terms of these two words called soundness and validity. A valid argument is, if the premises were true, the conclusion would have to be true, which is the logic component, saying, look, man, even if you're wrong in reality, your reasoning is still correct. Your reasoning is still correct because you're saying that if these two truths hold, this third truth also holds. Okay? That's just the logic part of the argument, the logic component. If what you're saying is true, then the conclusion that you're saying is also true. Okay? And that's very strict, and it's called validity. There's another equally important component to an argument, which is, of course, are your premises true? Are they actually true? Because if they're not, doesn't matter how great your logic is, your premises are wrong. Okay? And even if one premise out of all of them, arguments can have 10 premises. If one is wrong, the argument is called unsound. So soundness is what you really want in an argument. Validity is great, right? But you need soundness. You need the premises to also be true. So why is my argument about the moon being made of blue cheese, why is that a bad argument? It's not bad because of the reasoning. It's bad because the premises, in fact, one of the premises, premise 2, is false. It would be a miraculous coincidence if just everything I said throughout my entire life was true. I guess that is possible, but I highly doubt it. I can say something untrue right now. I can say that I'm wearing a pink shirt, and in no way am I wearing a pink shirt. So there, I just proved that premise false. Not everything I say is true. Okay? So that argument is unsound. It's valid, deductively valid, but unsound. You want to train yourself to, when you hear the word valid used in common language, to, well, I cringe. When I hear somebody use that, I'm like, oh my God, they're totally ruining this word. It means something specific to logicians and philosophers. And what it means is that logically, the reasoning tracks truth, contingent upon if the premises are true. But we first look that the logic is right. If the premises were true, would they give infallible support to the conclusion? That's the logic component. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? we're going to get started on the blog next week. Don't worry. It's just taking a little while. That's fine. What the blog is going to do is we're going to meet there online throughout the day, not at a specific time, but I will pose a question or two on the lesson plan for that day, and then we can all chat together on the blog. Okay, and it'll say like lesson 4 on the blog, and I will post the question there, or it will be on the lesson part, or both, and then we'll have a discussion about it. And in future, I'm finding out a way to be able to have us all sit together online virtually, not every day, but at least once a week, where we can have a discussion about your questions, your misunderstandings. These are very important. The things that confuse you are the most important, right? So we need to figure out why they're confusing you, and then I can help. I've taught logic for about 15 years now, so I am certain that everyone can get an A in this course, and more importantly, can go out there in the world and think critically about things and become a better thinker. Okay? That is my entire goal for you for this class, is that it will equip you to go out in the world in which there are tons of bad arguments being made every day, and be able to evaluate them and say why the reasoning is wrong or how the premises are faulty, right? And this is something that will help you for the rest of your life, right? Your friends and family might think you argue a little bit more, but that's their problem, right? Okay, what else? Okay, so I mentioned doing the self-assessment tests at the end of chapter 1 and at the end of chapter 2, if you want to go for that. You must do the chapter 1, record which ones, write it down somewhere, because we're going to use it, which ones you got wrong. I want you to write them down and then say why you think you got it wrong, or what it was that confused you about what you got wrong, right? Like, for example, you might have gotten something wrong and then you see the right answer, which, by the way, is at the back of the book. You might say to yourself, oh, I got number 7 wrong, but I totally understand why now, and I want you to write just a sentence down about that, okay? And then if you got number 8 wrong, but you're like, I still don't see how that answer is the right answer, I want you to say that, briefly, just 1 or 2 sentences about why you think you got wrong what you got wrong, or say what you need more help understanding in order to get it right. I'm going to look at your feedback, and from previous experience, you guys will probably all get the same ones wrong, right? Which is totally normal, because logic's tricky, and it's tricky in very certain places that students tend to coalesce around. So it's just going to help me get a reading on where I need to help you guys most with. And it's nothing other than that. So don't feel like you're being judged, etc., etc. Right now, we're just playing with concepts and ideas and getting our toolbox kind of started. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think I got everything covered. If I forgot something, put it up on the chat room. In general, if it's not super time sensitive, I check the chat room daily. Probably not on the weekends, but by Sunday evening, yes. If you have something that's time sensitive, send me an email and mark it as urgent. If it's something you think the class should also get an answer to, put it in the chat room so that we can all benefit from your question. And I think that's it. So have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.